Hi everyone, this is Attorney Lilian, and I am here today with your Tuesday tip. So today I will be talking to you about the red flags, okay? The red flags that you need to avoid when you're filing a marriage-based case. And I will take you through a few red flags that I have seen in practice, USCIS has really flagged, and things that they are looking at when you go ahead and file a marriage-based case. So let's jump right in, okay? So the first thing that you need to know before you start, before you even start your case, because I've had people call me, and I'll give you an example of a call, is, hi, Attorney Lillian, so we just got married, we're not living together, we don't really know if we want to live together, but we want to start the process right away. Do y'all see the red flag there? Or do I need to spell it out for you? Okay. There is a huge red flag for USCIS when you file a marriage-based case and you and your spouse do not live together. You don't have any documentation showing you live together. You can't even truthfully testify that you're living together. That's a huge red flag. So red flag number one, not living with your spouse. Okay, it's a red flag. However, there are exceptions to this red flag. There is a way to overcome this. So if you have a really good reason for why you and your spouse do not live together, then USCIS may forgive this red flag, right? They may overlook this red flag. But just know, if you walk in to your interview and based on your applications, it shows that you and your spouse does not live together, that is a major red flag for USCIS. Because the goal of a marriage-based case, right? The first thing USCIS is trying to determine is this marriage real? Right? Is this marriage real? And if they can't figure that out from your paperwork, they need to figure that out from your testimony. And if your testimony at your interview basically confirms that you kind of don't live together, that's a major red flag. It's hard to overcome that unless, of course, you have documentation showing that you live together at the time of the interview. So if at the time of filing you don't live together, but you had plans to live together, let's say like 3 months down the road, you already started looking for apartments together, you're waiting for a lease to expire, something like that, fine. You can go ahead and file, but just know at the time of your interview, the office is going to have questions because on your application, you're going to have 2 separate addresses. And you're most likely, there's a question on the form that says, what was the last address that you and your spouse lived together at? And if you've never lived together, and your plans are to move in together 3 months after you file, or a year after you file even, then the answer to that will need to be never live together. And if it says never live together, red flag, red flag, red flag. USCIS is going to be looking at your application with a magnifying glass to see what is this really real? So when you go to your interview, be prepared to answer questions about your living situation, especially if by the time of the interview, you're still not living together. Again, major red flag at that point. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're not living together and you have no plans of living together, please have a good reason for it. Okay? Have a really good reason for it, because most married couples, right? When you think, when you think of a stereotypical married couple, they live together. And that's what you really need to think about, is a stereotypical married couple. because some officers are looking at it through that lens of what would a stereotypical married couple do. So a stereotypical married couple will be living together. So if you have no plans to live together, you would need to really make sure that you're talking to an immigration lawyer before you start the process, because this is one big red flag that can lead to USCIS denying your case. Now, on the same vein, if you have a good reason for not living together, do not say on your application that you're actually living together when you're not living together. Because if USCIS officer that's interviewing you has any inclination that you two might not be living together and does a home visit, now not only one, you lied to USCIS, right? You lied to US immigration. Two, USCIS may find that your marriage was entered into for just immigration purposes. That is the worst, okay? That is the worst. It's one thing for them to find that you didn't present enough documentation. It's another thing for them to find that you entered into this marriage for the wrong reasons, for only immigration reasons. And once they find that, it is nearly impossible. I say nearly impossible because there may be other ways for you to get status, but through marriage, for you to get married, to marry someone else and try to get status through them, it is going to be nearly impossible. And then if you, let's say you end up having a child that's a US citizen that's over 21 and they file for you, USCIS is not going, the marriage fraud is not going to come up as a barrier to you getting your green card. However, the lying, right? That fraud or misrepresentation. So you saying that you live together when you didn't actually live together is going to come back and bite you. So now you need a waiver. And if you've seen my waiver video, you know that for you to get a waiver, you need a US citizen or permanent resident, spouse, or parent. Children do not count for these types of waivers. So one, you can't get status through another spouse. And two, even if you can get status through a child, a parent, an employer in the future, this will still come up and you'll still need a waiver. So it's really, 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 really important that if one, you have this red flag, you're talking to a lawyer first, and two, do not lie about it. Okay? You don't want to lie that you're living together when you're not living together, because that will just mess up your case even more. Again, if you have a really good reason, we can formulate an argument and be able to show USCIS that it's a good reason. But if you don't plan on living together, you don't have a good reason for living together, it's really going to be hard for you to make those arguments. Okay, so that's the first red flag. Not living with your spouse and then lying about it too is a red flag. So if USCIS does a home visit, just know that is always a possibility in every single case. It is a possibility. Okay, so that is your tip for today. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and share it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you like what I'm talking about, like the video. And if you're watching in a place that you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I am Lilian Chukura. I am the lawyer and owner of Lilly Legal, where we help our clients get status for themselves and for their family using the US immigration law system. Thank you. Bye.